Let's go, family. It is your man, DeAndre Saxton, back for another video, coming to you from beautiful Medellin, Colombia. I am back in the game. It has been so long since I've been out here in Colombia, and I got my mobile studio with me. The camera's not going back and forth anymore, but I got the camera and the lighting. One thing I learned about podcasting is all you need is good lighting, good audio, and good video, and I got all three. Everything else is just icing on the cake. I'm excited to be here with you guys. I'm excited to give you the sauce. I don't care what country I am, where I'm at, what time zone you're going to find me here on the Saxton Show. And today is episode 8. Watch this video if you're feeling stagnant or if you feel like you're regressing in your life. You know, if you stay to the end of this video, I'm going to be giving you guys some insight into my life and what I've been really doing to actually make some huge leaps. Just like in the last couple of days, my business has brought in 5 figures. And I want to share kind of the stuff that I've done to kind of shift my life. And whether you're going out there, you want to earn your first 10 grand this month, or you want to go out there and just get going in your business and your life, then this is the right place for you. All right. And like I said, guys, many times is I've studied under my mentor, Bob Proctor, who recently passed away. And I've taken this information and he's helped me build a 7-figure business. And as I start to share my experiences and knowledge on this podcast, I want you to see this mostly as like a sit down chat, right? It's not a bunch of people. Well, I don't see this as a bunch of people watching me. It's me and you. I don't care where you're at. If you're watching on your living room, on your laptop, on your phone, or if you're watching the recording right now, it's me and you having a one-to-one conversation as I share the experiences and the knowledge that I've gathered that has taken me from a guy sleeping in his car at 24 years old. And by the time I was 25, I earned my first $1 million. So go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat if you're here and ready to rock and roll and you're ready to get something going. Go ahead and share this with 2 people. Share this with 2 people so we can get this community rocking and rolling. So let's hop into the content. So watching this. So I don't know where you're at right now in your life and in your business, but if you're feeling stagnant right now, I want you to know that that is totally fine and that is totally okay. There's this beautiful saying that Jim Rohn has that life is like the changing seasons. Life is like the changing seasons. By the way, I have my laptop over here, so if you see me looking over here, just to make sure that everything is looking good in the chat. I can still hear you. I can still see you. All right, hold on here. Jim Rohn says that life is like the changing seasons and that you have to understand each season and that to know what to do within that season. Because no matter what, unless you're like in Medellin, Colombia, where it's literally the city of eternal spring, life is going to hit you with summers, winters, springs, and falls. And it's the way you go about those that's going to determine your output in life, your happiness throughout it, and ultimately the results that you're going to get in your life. So winter is a time where things are not progressing in your life. It can either be not progressing, stagnant, or what you could perceive as regressing, meaning you feel like you're going backwards. You see, it's at this time that you have to hold on and have the knowledge and awareness that there's a positive outcome that's going to come on the other side. A little bit later into the podcast, I'm going to be breaking down the stick figure and where anxiety, fear, doubt, and worry comes in, and how we can replace those emotions with more ideas of faith, understanding, progression, creation, inspiration. I think those are the feelings that God really meant us to have. But we have to get an understanding not only of our mind, but of this beautiful world and the laws in which we live in. That way we can have a better going at this game of life, right? And so understanding that there are winters and that there are harvests, a lot of us are going for the harvests, but then we have to be able to deal and endure the winters. And that's what today's talk is about, enduring the winters. So I'm not going to lie, guys. In my business, I was feeling a little stagnant. All right. I've been doing the same thing now for 2 years, working with Bob Proctor. And I've earned $1 million in that business, about $1 million in revenue. And I feel like I wasn't having as much fun as I did when I started 2 years ago. And I started noticing that I was feeling a little stagnant, and I was trying different things to try to grow the business. I invested nearly 6 figures in coaching and Facebook ads and funnels and all of the different marketing to try to grow the business. And it got to the point where I wasn't having that much fun anymore. And I said, you know what? I want to make my life fun again. And I need to jumpstart it. I need to jumpstart my life as if I was starting from scratch. And this is where a lot of the stuff like the podcast came together, where I get to come on this call and share the things that I'm doing to in my life that I've learned, and also scaling my business to the next level and serving you guys in the process so you could do the same. And I was feeling stagnant, almost in a way that I was feeling a lot of pressure, especially living in Miami. And the pressure that I was feeling was this idea that I may not have had the direction that I wanted. Like, I want you guys to see this. Remember, we talked about having a C type goal? Let me get my goal card in here. It's in here. You know, I got it on me. Goal card. All right, you see that? So I have a goal card. My goal card says this: I'm so happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis to the frequency of a $10 million company. Now, I have a vision, but the how question was hindering me. Drop a 1 in the chat if this ever hindered you before. You're going towards a goal, you have a vision, but then you wake up and like your day to day, you're like, how do I get there? What am I supposed to do? And it starts to frustrate you. Or you might feel like you're stagnant or regressing because you have a vision, you have a goal, but you don't know how you're going to achieve it. And that's kind of how I was feeling. And so here's one thing that I've learned: you have a mental part, and then you have a heart, right? You have a mind and a body, or a mind and a heart. Mind, heart, and these are two minds or two energy centers that you have that literally navigate your life. Your mind you have your mental faculties, right? Your intellectual, your ability to think, your ability to reason, create, imagination. But then you have your heart, and I truly believe that your heart is the magnet into life, right? Because what we know based on science is that the brain is electrical. It's an electrical switching station, but the heart is a magnet. What it does is it literally feeds your body, feeds your heart, and it's a magnet. So the mind is electrical, the heart is magnetic. So your body is essentially electrical magnetics. So what you're sending out, whatever energy you're sending out, and if your heart's in alignment with it, you'll begin to attract. So what will happen is we have two parts of us that are sometimes pulling us in different directions. You see, your mind says, go do this because this is the logical thing to do. This is the plan. This is what I imagine. This is how I think it's going to happen. And then your heart or your intuition could be telling you something different. And it's your ability to discern those two that will actually, that will really not only provide you clarity, but also guidance and feelings of abundance and love as you start to navigate through the world. So what was going on with me is this feeling that I knew what I wanted, but my heart was telling me that I need to get out of the country. I need to get out into a place where there's less distractions. Here's one thing. Here's one thing I learned from Ty Lopez. If you guys are familiar with Ty Lopez, is that when you change your environment, it causes you to form new. In the word we're going to use here is paradigm. Your new habits that allows you to create new thoughts. So think about this. Imagine if you move to a new city, you would have to find maybe new restaurants, new place, maybe a new language to speak, new navigation, right? The old habits that you had created are no longer there. And so in the process of you creating a new life or creating new habits, you are now creating new thoughts. And that was the initial thinking that took me to Miami back in 2018. So here I was about a week ago, no, longer than that, maybe that 2 to 3 weeks ago. And I was thinking to myself, like, I want to take my business and I want to take this podcast to the next level, but I need to get out of this environment. I need to get out of Miami momentarily for at least a month so I can build new habits and rewire new thoughts into my life and get rid of all of the baggages and vices that I was holding on to so I can create something new. And so what I wanted to do, what my heart was telling me is I need to go back to Medellin, Colombia. I love this city. It's my number 2 favorite city. Number 1 being Miami, obviously being in the States, and number 2 being Medellin, Colombia. But there was 2 things that were stopping me. Number 1 was that you needed a vaccine card in order to get into the country. Number 2 is that quite frankly, my rent in my apartment in Miami is $4,000 a month. And whenever I come out to Colombia, it takes a couple months. You know, I go out here for a couple of months, maybe 2 to 3 months. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm not the type of guy to give away $8,000 to $12,000 away for free, me paying rent. So I was like, okay, I would want to place my apartment on Airbnb. That way that I can go out to Colombia and not have to worry about paying $4,000 a month. Because then my expenses literally in rents would be like 8 grand a month in rent between Colombia and Miami, and I'm not trying to do that. So I was like, I want to go put my apartment on Airbnb, but then here's what will happen is that you don't know how. See, what I'm sharing with you guys right now is how I got out of something that was stagnant and how I created ripples in my life or ripples in the water that brought in an influx of cash flow, but also re-sparked some inspiration back in my life. That's what I'm talking. That's the story I'm telling you guys right now. And so think about this. Have you ever seen like a bee that has fallen in some water, maybe like a cup of water or a lake, and it starts fluttering its wings and it sends out those ripples? So what we need to do in our life is we need to send out those ripples. But how do we send out those ripples? Is you need to create massive changes in your life. And the easiest, if you have no kids right now, is to get out of your current environment. Go to a new city, go to a new country, go travel, go do something for 2 to 4 weeks where you can start to create new synapses or new connections in your life so you can get out of the feelings of being in a winter or stagnancy and create something brand new. And that feeling of brand new or walking into the unknown will allow space for massive changes, masses of inflow of cash flow or abundance or whatever it is that you're looking for to come and settle its way into your life. And so I had this idea of going to Colombia, but I didn't know how Airbnb worked. I didn't even know what I would do. But here's what I started to think: as I took action before I knew how I was going to get it. I had an end goal, and then I said, "Hey, what would I be doing right now if that end goal was manifest already?" And I said, "Well, I would start packing." And so I started packing my bags because I knew that if I got out of Miami, a lot of the distraction and vices that I had would get away from me, right? The distractions of going out to dinners, the old friends that I was with, the girls that I were dating that weren't serving me, right? A lot of things that were holding me back, that weren't exactly what I wanted. And it was almost tough, right? Because sometimes we have those vices. It could be friends, it could be environments, it could be habits that we have. And it's like they pull us back. We try to go build a new life, and those habits pull us back to who we are, saying, no, 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 don't try to go be a new version of yourself. Come back to us because this is who you are now. You see, the people that you have in your life, the situations, the circumstances that are going on right now, they don't see you for where you could be or where you're going. They see you for who you're at, where you're at now. And if you have this vision of who you want to be, and your friends in the environment are saying, no, 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 this is where you're at, it could be very conflicting. And you can feel this feeling of stagnancy or things that are holding you back. Is this making sense? Drop a 1 in the chat if you're feeling me here. So you have to create this change, create this movement, send out these ripples into the water so that you can create new waves coming back to you. So I started packing my bags, said, I'm going to go to Colombia. And I didn't know one single thing of how I was going to make it happen. Well, I could, like I said, I could just come. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to do it in a smart way. And so, you know what's funny? Within 3 days, just to cut the story short, I manifested the photographer, the cleaning lady, the manager. And within my first 20 minutes of listing my apartment on Airbnb, I brought in $4,400 in profit just this week alone, paid my rent off in a week. And now the unit is going to be bringing me profit. You see, but the thing that was hindering me for over 3 weeks was this idea of how. There was a way I wanted to go travel where I want to go spend 2 to 3 months, maybe or longer, out in a different country, but I didn't want to pay, 4 or 5 grand a month. And I wanted somebody else to take care of that via another business opportunity via Airbnb. And all these how questions were holding me down until I took action without knowing what I was doing, where I was going to go, which is hopes that it was going to come together. You see, that's a story that we're going to talk about how we can do that, not only in my life, but how we can apply it to your life. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's break this out. Let's do this. Okay, so I got some cool sauce for you. Let me add this here. We're going to be talking about making dramatic changes in your life. We're going to do... I'm curious, by the way, guys, where are you watching today's show from? Drop in the chat, where are you watching today's show from? Let's talk about this. All right, so remember the idea of a stick figure, right? We're going to go ahead and draw this here. This will be the basis of a lot of the teachings that we do, okay? Actually, let me do this. So I want you guys to understand this, that there's literally a power that's flowing into your consciousness. You guys can see this? Yes, you can see this. There's a power that's flowing into your consciousness. This power is literally thought power, thought energy. I want you to think, where do your thoughts actually come from? Where do new ideas actually come from? You see, your brain is not your mind. Your mind is an activity. Your mind is activity. Your brain is not your mind. Your brain is a mechanism that allows and houses your mind so that you can think. And within that mind, within that activity, that is the spiritual part of you. That's your ability to create new ideas, originate new ideas, your ability to reason, your ability to hold memories and to do everything that you're doing in your life. So that's this idea of thought energy. This power, call it the Holy Spirit, call it energy, call it thought energy, whatever you want. There's a power flowing into your consciousness. And one thing that you must understand about this power is that it's not positive and it's not negative. It just is. And it's called the law of polarity. You see, what is this energy that's really coming into you? It's a creative energy. You see, and us being created in God's image, we have the ability to create. Now, the question that I want to ask you is, what are you creating? Is this something that's positive or is it something that's negative? Now, that's your choice, positive or negative. It's a law of polarity. See, we can't have an inside without an outside. We can't have black without white. We can't have light without darkness, right? We can't have cold without hot. It's the law of opposites, or the law of polarity, stating that for every good thing, there must be a bad thing. And so when this power is flowing into our consciousness and it allows us to create, we can either create from positive or create negative, right? We can either create positive thoughts or negative thoughts. Is this making sense for you? Either positive or negative thoughts. So, what does this look like if we want to start creating new ripples in our life? So, let's keep this idea up here of, let's start with the negative. Let's just say this person, right? And by the way, whenever you are, it's called this thing is, there's a part of your mind called the reticular activating system that allows you to focus and find specific things that you're looking for. For example, if I said, hey, I would give you $1,000 for every red car that you saw today, how many red cars could you honestly remember? If you had $1,000 of the life for every red car that you can remember that you saw today, how many could you honestly remember? And now, for some of us, we might have not have seen any, or maybe one or two. But what if I said this? For tomorrow, for every yellow car, I will give you $1,000. Guess what? You will be out there looking for every yellow cab and yellow car possible. Why? That's called the reticular activating system. When you set a goal or a mission on the mind, your mind will start to surface and find and lock into specific ideas, whether it's positive or negative. And that's this law that we're talking about here, law of polarity, that whatever you're looking for, whether it's positive or negative in any situation, you will find it. You can find the negative in every situation, or you can find the positive in every situation. So when we're trying to get out of this stagnancy, what we have to find is we have to find the positive side of this equation. But before we get into the positive, let's talk about what could be going on right now. So let's go ahead and break this stick figure out. So there's this power flowing into your consciousness. And in this example, the power that we're going to latch onto is the power of negative. We're going to latch onto the power of something that is negative. So what will happen if you take this power and you create negative thoughts right here in your conscious mind? What will begin to happen is that you will form doubt and worry. When you take this creative power, that says worry, by the way, when you take this creative power and you allow it to sit within your consciousness, you will have doubt and worry. Think about this. You take your imagination, the thing that you can go and create a whole new, brand new life. You can imagine yourself living your dream life, driving your dream car, earning your dream income, doing everything that you want in your life. And you use that power. Instead of creating it for good, what you're going to do is create it to form negative images of what you don't want. And those negative images form doubt and worry in your consciousness, right? You're literally playing a mental movie of what you don't want or what could not happen. And that is something that we call doubt and worry. Now, what happens if you take this doubt and worry and you move it over to and you get it emotionally involved? What happens if you move this power into your subconscious mind? Remember, your subconscious mind does not have the ability to reject this idea. So if your subconscious mind thinks that this is real, that this imagined idea of this negative circumstance, let's just say right now you're struggling financially. And in one part of your mind, you can imagine yourself living your dream life, earning the income that you want, having your dream mansion, car, living the lifestyle that you want with you, your family, and your kids. That's the positive side. But what's the negative side? You look at your current situation, you look at your current bank account, and you start to see, what if I don't get the money? What if I can't pay rent? What if the sales don't come? What if I don't close the sale? Where's the people going to come from? Where's the resources, right? And now instead of using that power for your positive, you're going to use it to your negative. So now you form these ideas of doubt and worry. Now, what happens if you take that power and you pass it over to your subconscious mind that can't tell the difference if it's real or if it's fake? So now you're taking this idea and you're passing it along to your subconscious mind. And when you get emotionally involved in a negative idea, what that does now is that forms fear. Fear. Fear is the belief or the emotional involvement in a future event that is not yet manifest. Fear is the emotional involvement in an image that is not yet manifest. Fear, you know what the opposite of fear is? Faith. Faith and fear are quite frankly the same thing. Both of them require you to believe in something that is not yet real. So in this example now, we've taken this idea of lack of income and we're gonna get emotionally involved with it, and we're gonna actually start to generate emotions as if what of lack, limitations, and what if? What if this doesn't happen? And what happens then? We've talked about in further episodes that the body is a physical instrument of the mind, that this body that we live in is literally a mirror of the subconscious mind. So whatever emotional involvements that you're holding here in your mind will then be reflected in your body via actions and feelings. So if you're starting to feel fear in your subconscious mind, and we're going to pass it over to the body, what you're going to then feel is anxiety. Anxiety is a body that is not vibrating in harmony. You are in harmony with negative things. And we understand that whatever energy we're putting out, we begin to attract back to us. So we're taking this fear, right? You're feeling stagnant in your life. You feel like your business is regressing. And you're wanting to create change, but what's happening is that the change is so difficult for you because of this scenario right here. You're literally taking this power that God gave us to create, but instead of creating for your benefit, you're creating it for your detriment. So we took it from the imagination. We're going to take this imagined future and turn it to the subconscious mind and generate feelings with it. And those generated feelings in this mental movie then move those feelings to your body, where then you feel anxiety. Well, what is anxiety? Anxiety is looking into the future of something that you don't want, and you don't know the how or the where or the why, and that sends your body into a state of unknowingness, and that's called chaotic vibration. The body loves to be in homeostasis. Homeostasis meaning being clear, being coherent, being in order. And if something is unknown or outside of your realm of the known, it sends your body out of order, which is out of homeostasis, which causes his body to feel anxiety. It feels anxiety for the future, not knowing how. So I'm going to continue on this right side over here, okay? So anxiety. Anxiety is a body that is not in coherence, that is not in order. And here's one thing about anxiety. When you're feeling anxious about something, is this something that you're super excited to go out there and make shit happen? Right? Are you excited when you're excited and when you're anxious? No. What will happen then is that you're going to take these emotions. You're not going to express it, right? If you're feeling down, what's going to happen? You're going to be more reclusive. You're going to want to watch Netflix, eat ice cream, eat fatty food, stay in the house, not socialize with people, right? So the emotions are not expressed. Anxiety is, how do you spell suppressed? Suppressed. Anxiety is suppressed. So you're going to take all those negative emotions, and instead of letting them flow down the river of life, it's literally going, you're going to latch onto it and bury it within bury it within your body, bury it within your emotions, bury it within your memories. And what happens is if you start to suppress something over a long period of time, I'm talking years and years of feeling anxiety, doubt, and worry, that's going to then turn into depression. Depression. And depression is honestly anger turned inwards. When a person is depressed, what they're really saying is they have these negative emotions, but instead of expressing them outwards, they're creating it and they're turning that hatred inward. And it's like this self-loathing cloud over the person because they're suppressing these emotions deep down into every cell of their body. And if a body is feeling depressed, that means it is not coherent. That means it is not in order. And a body that is not in order or that is not in harmony with ultimate abundance will eventually turn into dis-ease. Dis-ease. Another word we would say is disease, right? Disease starts to come into a person's life when their body is not at ease. You see how I hyphenated this word here? Dis-ease. It's a body that is not at ease. Why? It's those suppressed emotions. And one thing that we know about the universe is a law that says you're either creating or disintegrating. And disease turns into if I spell that right, disintegration. I didn't spell that right, but you know what I mean. Disintegration. So now your business starts to disintegrate. Your lifestyle starts to disintegrate. Your income starts to disintegrate. Your family, your relationships start to disintegrate. Why? Because you're not creating, because of this entire emotional turmoil that's going on within your body. Why? Because we chose to get emotionally involved and use our imagination to our detriment and get emotionally involved in this mental movie and act as if it's real, and the body can't tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. And instead of creating something that we want, we create something that we don't want, and the body must believe that it is real. My wish is your command, and now you have put yourself in a winter in a stagnant state. All right, so that's good, DeAndre. Now, how do we get out of it? See, we had to understand how you got into your current situation. That way that we could get on to the next. I'm just curious so far. What's been your biggest takeaway so far? What's been your biggest takeaway? I know that we're dropping some really good stuff here. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this person and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get him emotionally involved in something that's positive. He's going to create a life that he actually wants based on something that's positive. Remember, there's this power flowing into your consciousness. And in this example, let's call him John. John here is going to create something positive. What he's going to do is he's going to go into that beautiful imagination of his, and he's going to create a positive image of what he wants to create, the lifestyle that he wants. Let me get a drink of water here. Where my water at? Guys, jump in the chat really now. Go ahead and let me know what's your biggest takeaway so far. What are you liking about this? Fresh water. Okay. So John here, he's going to use his imagination and go create something that's positive, something that he really, really wants in his life. Okay. And so he's going to use his imagination, and what he's going to do is he's going to transfer that. Let's use the color blue here. Come on, pen. He's going to transfer that positive idea into the subconscious mind. Well, how do you do that? Is you get emotionally involved in it. You start to generate emotions of the image of the future. So now you're imagining, you're closing your eyes, you can imagine yourself living your dream life, achieving that goal. And even though it's not real in the physical, closing your mind and generating emotion, your body starts to believe that it's real. And now your subconscious mind believes it's real because it can't reject any idea that you press upon it. And now you've generated emotions or have become emotionally involved in an imagination or a future of what you want. So How do you get to this point? How do you get to this point? It's through it's through knowledge. Knowledge is the key to moving to this section. Because back over here in this example, this is ignorance, not simply knowing what's going on. And when we come over here and we start to get in the area of knowledge, well, the question is, well, DeAndre, how do you gain knowledge? You gain knowledge through study, studying calls like this, studying podcasts and getting information. Because when you start to study, you start to gather understanding. You see, understanding is correlated to your conscious mind. Remember, we talked about the conscious mind controls 5% of your results. Why? Because it's your understanding. It's your intellectual faculties, but it's your understanding. You gain understanding when you start to study yourself, study the laws, and you start to gain knowledge and awareness about what's going on around you and how to navigate this body and the goals that you want in life. So when we start to have understanding in our conscious mind, you understand what's going on. What we're going to do is move over here to the subconscious mind, where we're going to have faith. Remember in that example we talked about fear? Fear and faith are both the same. So now that you have an understanding of the laws of your being, you understand what's going on the spiritual level, the intellectual level, and the physical level, you're going to start to have faith. Faith that if you take a leap, that God will catch you, that your parachute will open, that the universe will support you. If you start to take action, faith is not just sitting on the couch and meditating. Faith is taking action on the images that you want. Like when I had faith when I moved to Miami with $600 and said I was going to build a dream life. I had faith when I started on a credit card with Bob Proctor, said I was going to figure it out. I had faith that if I was going to start packing my bags as if I was going to get Airbnb clients, that somebody would figure out how to do the Airbnb for me. And now I've made my first week. I paid my rent first week. Everything starting next week on is pure profit. 12 grand a month profit on an idea that I was sitting stagnant on because I wasn't working in faith. I was working in fear. But then I got to understanding that, hey, let me switch it to a positive and let me move to the area of faith. Well, if this was done already, what would I be doing? Well, I would be taking action. Let me start packing my bags, started moving in faith, and all the people, situations, and circumstances started to manifest itself. And now I just got a text message from the manager that's managing my Airbnb saying that the keys were safely handed to the client, and now he's in the Airbnb, and he paid me $3,000. This one client paid me $3,000 profit for just 6 days to stay in my apartment. That's called faith. Moving without the how, but moving from the heart. Is that making sense so far? Yes, yes, yes. Cool. Now, faith. Faith is going to send your body into a state called well-being. Well-being. Because you're starting to get out of the realm of the stagnancy. You see, the reason you're stagnant it's not that you're stagnant your environment is stagnant, your mind is stagnant. Your mind is in a jail. And once you start to move outside of that jail and start to create new ripples and do something dramatically different, you're going to start to feel so much better because you're feeling like you got out of that jail. That's put your body in a state of well-being. I feel amazing right now. My business has generated over almost close to $10,000 in the last 3 days. And this is from multiple sources of income. It's amazing. Why? Because I created ripples to scale this business to the next level. I want to scale my business to $300,000 a month, $500,000 a month, but I need to do things differently. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. Well, how do you do something different? Is by having faith. Having faith. And now your body is not this feeling of drudgery or weight on you. You're going to have these feelings of well-being. And here's one thing about well-being. If you're excited about something, let's just say, have you ever had a friend that just got a new car? It could have been a dream car, or they bought a car that they're really excited about. What is the first thing that that friend does once they get the car? They're calling you, they're calling their family, they're posting on social media, they're excited, right? That is one thing that we have to understand here. When you're excited or when you're in a state of well-being, it is expressed. Excitement is an expressive emotion. So what's going to happen is when you're starting to feel at well-being, you're going to start to express your emotion. So instead of taking that anxiety and suppressing it within, we're going to take that excitement and express it without and send out ripples, like literally ripples out into the universe so that the things can start to manifest in the effortless way. Is it starting to make sense to you now? This is how the law of attraction works, by sending out the ripples of the actions you take when you start to express the excitement of the new things that are happening. The excitement doesn't come once you manifest it. The excitement comes when you start moving towards it. And then the movement itself is what brings the manifestations into fruition. Is this making sense for you? Yes? And then what will happen? Come on, pen. You're going to start to move into acceleration. You're going to start moving faster. Things are going to start coming to you. The money's going to come. The clients are going to come. Guys, when I put my listing on Airbnb, I put it, I posted it, but it didn't, for some reason, didn't get posted or whatever, or went live for like 24 hours. And I was kind of scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already moving. What happens if I don't do this? Like, whatever. And the next day, it actually gets listed at like 11 a.m. And within the first 30 minutes, I had 3 people booking my spot for over $3,000 in requests. And I was like, wow. It's like everything started to come so fast. You see, when you start to express yourself, the acceleration starts to come, the manifestation starts to move, the money starts to come, everything starts to flow towards you. You have to start moving before the money comes, before the resources come. You got to start the podcast before the people are there. This is what I'm saying here. Like I said, whether I'm in Miami or whether I'm in Medellin, Colombia, whether I'm in a different time zone, whether there's 3 people, whether there's 3,000 or 300, I will be here because I'm creating these ripples in life. And sooner or rather than later, the universe must succumb to my persistence, my vision, the skill sets that I'm developing in the process of this, my willing to give to you and to without expectation in return. Acceleration. Now, acceleration is going to put you at ease. You're calm. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of life. Being calm. And that's where meditation comes into play. Meditation allows you to become calm, to not worry about the bills, the sales calls, what you have to do tomorrow, the hunger, the disease, the breakup, all that stuff. You become calm. You become at ease. And when you're at ease, whether you're doing this in a theoretical sense, like right now we're talking about this in theory, right? When you're meditating and you become at ease and you're calm and you have faith and you start to get out you start to get the rug out underneath you. That's the stagnancy and the regression in your winter. And we can start to move into something else. And I'm going to draw here in white. Creation. The opposite of disintegration. Now, instead of disintegration, instead of your life disintegrating, the bank account going backwards, you're starting to create. Cash flow starts to come in. The people start to come. The money starts to come. The resources, everything that you needed to happen starts to come in the perfect timing. Not how you wanted it, but how God and the universe wanted to manifest. You trying to control, not you, but a person trying to control everything is not allowing space. And so if something is stagnant in your life right now, or your business is regressing, or life is, you feel like it's regressing, it's because you have too much control. And that control is asking how, where. We want to get out of that and start to move into faith. Well, how do we move into that section? We have a clear vision of what we want. What is the experience that we want to have? What are the emotions that those experiences would generate for me? And then start taking action on it. Start packing the bags. Start doing the sales call. Start doing the podcast. Start making the YouTube videos. Start posting on social media. Start the business. Even if you don't have the money, start doing the stuff as if you had the resources. And now that you're moving, it's like the God is like saying, thank you so much for believing and having faith. Here's your blessings. And now here's your manifestation. And here's a law of attraction actually starting to come and make ways in your life. So that's what I did. That's what I did to create a 7-figure business. That's what I'm doing to take my business to the next level. I'm so happy and grateful, guys. I'm questioned. I'm loving this, guys. I'm loving this. I want to go ahead and move to any questions. Does anybody have any questions for me? I know that was a lot. That was a lot. But this is what we need to do. Let me get this out the way. So if you're feeling stagnant right now, the one thing that I can urge you to do is to go create ripples in your life. Do something dramatically different. Go out there and do something you've never done before. Go to a new city. Try a new business. Try a new strategy. Try a new methodology. You see, at the end of the day, our goal is an end result, right? We want some end experience, but we don't really care how we get there. Let's just say you're in Miami right now and your goal is to get to Colombia, Medellin, Colombia. Actually, no, let's use another example. Let's just say you're in California right now and San Diego, and you want to get to Miami. You can drive there, you can take a bike, you can walk, you can fly, you can take a bus. There's so many ways to get there. The how is not irrelevant. But as long as you get to your destination, let's just say in this example, there's no time restriction, there's no money restriction. Your goal is just to get to Miami, from San Diego to Miami. See, how we get there is irrelevant. And too much time we get too hung up on the how because we don't see the way. We can't see the destination. We can't see all the green lights are going to take us from California, San Diego to Miami. We want all the lights to be green from San Diego to Miami before we get on the road. And that will simply not happen. And that creates stagnancy and regression in our life or disintegration. Get out there. Actually write this down right now. What is one action that you can take? And right now your heart is telling you, as I'm speaking this into existence for you, what is the one thing that you can do to start taking action right now so that you can move your life in a new direction? Something dramatically different. I'm not talking about a new strategy. I'm talking about something you've never done, something that scares you, something that goes out there and gets you from living in fear and living into faith. Because fear is you're playing some movie of what you don't want. But when you move into faith, you're doing something so big, so grand, so unknown, so different that you must believe in a power greater than yourself. And when you believe in that power, now everything starts to come into you. The money, situations, and circumstances, and you start to see the blessings. Yes, yes, yes. Alrighty, family. I don't see any questions in the chat right now, but I want to thank you so much for being here on episode 8 of the Saxton Show podcast. I'm so excited to be here and grow with you. I'm committed. I'm committed. And if this has to take 100 episodes before we hit as many people as I want, then damn it, that's what we'll do. Persistence is what I'm going to do. I'm going to serve and over deliver for each and every one of you. As long as you're here on this call, giving me your time, I want to make sure that it's valuable for you, that you're seeing progression, that you're seeing the growth, and that you're taking action, and you know how to apply this information so that you can see results in your life and have purpose, passion, and profit. Make sure you subscribe below, hit that notification bell. That way you get notified next time I go live. The next time I'm going live is Tuesday at 9 p.m. I'll be here in Medellin, Colombia in my new apartment because right now I'm in a hotel for the weekend, but then I'll be in my new spot. And I'm so excited to be bringing brand new content for you guys, something that you've never seen before. Allow me to create something brand new. So guys, from me to you, this is your big brother, DeAndre Saxton, signing out. I'll see you on Tuesday. Share this video, hit the subscribe, hit the notification, hit that like. Sending blessings to you. Take care, guys.